Oh my gosh. Another crazy story here in Texas, but more specifically here in DFW involving humans and animals. Oh my, I'm sorry, I hate bringing this stuff to you, but I have to report on it. Do you remember this story from last year? Houston never fails to provide very interesting content. Houston area couple, Montgomery County to be specific, charged with multiple sex crimes, one of those including relations with a Great Dane. Sorry to keep bringing these creepy stories, but let's check it out.
The colony is investigating whether criminal charges will be filed against the owners of 88 animals seized from inside their home Tuesday. 22 more animals were found dead inside the home. Fox 4's Lori Brown live in the colony. Lori.
Clarice, the investigation began with a tip from a neighbor. Police say that the smell inside and even outside the home was sickening. The Colony Animal Services rescued 24 dogs, 45 cats, 12 reptiles, and 7 mice from this home on the 4800 block of Alta Oaks Lane. 22 more animals were found dead inside the home.
How do you have 88 animals inside of your house and dead cats in your freezer? What in the world is going on? I mean, I wonder how bad that smell was when you walk by. I feel bad for these animals. Look, as I've aged, I get older, I have more sympathy for animals, even birds and all kinds of animals. I mean, I'm not going to work in an animal shelter or anything like that. But I have sympathy for animals. If I see a turtle crossing the street, I'm going to stop. If I see a duck crossing the street, I'm going to stop for it. So when I see that animals are being mistreated, it bothers me because this is weird. And why? What do people get? What is it with people and animals?
The homeowners out of the house. Initially, they refused. They wanted to see a copy of the warrant, but once they saw the copy that we had the warrant, they did come out and were relatively cooperative, helping to get the animals out of the house, telling us their names and ages.
The dogs ranged from small to as large as a bull mastiff. The reptiles included snakes, turtles, and tortoises. Sergeant James Barfield was one of the officers who responded.
I would call them deplorable. They were some of the worst conditions that I've ever seen inside of a house. And pretty much every room of the house had animals in it, and they were not being cared for properly.
The owners, a husband and wife whose names are not being released, will have a hearing in 10 days to make their case before a judge as to if they should get the animals back. If a judge rules against that, the animals will be adoptable.
There was a significant number of them, and they weren't spayed or neutered, so they're continued to multiply, so that number just continued to grow.
Jennifer Rainey is a spokesperson for the colony.
They're all going through vet examinations right now. They're taking a look at them, and many of them have different respiratory illnesses or congestions, eye discharge, things like that that are concerning. So the vet will take a look at that. Also get them vaccinated so that we are sure that they can continue to be healthy. And then should they go through the adoption process, they would be spayed or neutered.
Rainey says people who adopt existing dogs at the shelter will in turn help these animals.
These animals aren't there yet. They're not adoptable yet, but all of our adoptable animals are available online. Anytime they adopt, that makes space for more animals that might be in this type of situation.
All of the animals are receiving medical evaluations. Sergeant Barfield says that the charges in this case could range from a Class A misdemeanor to a third-degree felony. Clarice.
What do people get? What is it with people and animals? Especially, it's sad because I see a lot of this stuff happening in my state. I'm sure it happens across the country as well. But for this to be right up the road for me, I can drive to the colony. It's a nice community, upper class, a middle upper class town, city. And you never know who's standing in front of you at the grocery store. You see somebody checking out, buying something, you don't know what kind of freaky stuff they're doing behind their closed doors. Having sex with animals, animal orgies, a bunch of animals sleeping with each other. I mean, do they get some kind of enjoyment out of this nonsense? Do they get turned on? I mean, it's not very normal. It's not human-like. It's disgusting. I think they deserve the maximum punishment. Third-degree felonies. This is sick. This is disgusting, and it should not happen. Extremely
disturbing story out of Spring tonight. It involves bestiality, possession of child pornography, and indecency with a child by exposure. This is KPRC2 News at 10. I'm Keith Garvin.
Good evening. I'm Daniela Guzman. The Montgomery County Precinct 3 Constable's office says the husband even committed some of his crimes inside of a busy supermarket. And that is where we find our Devin Clark tonight, joining us to break down the disturbing details.
The charges stem from allegations that many would find appalling. Officials say some of those crimes happened within the confines of the suspect's home, but it wasn't until the husband brought his perversions here to this HEB that this all came to light.
Meet the Kings. This spring couple now looking at prison time, charged with felonies after investigators say they discovered the two had been engaging in lewd and illegal acts. It all started at this HEB on Rayford Road, where officials with the Montgomery County Precinct 3 Constable's office say they were dispatched back on March 13. They say William King was following kids around inside the supermarket as he exposed and touched his genitals. During the course of the investigation, officials say they seized William King's phone and found not only child pornography, but also evidence of bestiality involving his wife. They say they found a video of Jolie King having sex with the couple's Great Dane dog. Today, they were both arrested at their home in the Harmony subdivision nearby.
Officials say they were not only able to rescue that abused Great Dane, but also 2 other dogs from the couple's home, and say that they've prevented them from further sexual exploitation. Now, at last check, the couple was still inside of the Montgomery County Jail. Jolie King charged with bestiality and William King charged with indecency with a child by exposure and possession of child pornography. Officials are asking any other potential witnesses out there to come forward. Reporting in Spring, Devin Clark, KPRC2 News.
Those two were all kinds of messed up. Now, that was that story from last year I want to update you on. First of all, bestiality is sick. With the Great Dane, all of that nonsense, weird. And then this guy's exposing himself to kids in HEB. Like that touches on what I was saying. Oh, no pun intended when I said touches. But well, okay. Anyway, never mind. But that is exactly what I'm saying. You go to a grocery store and then you see this guy paying for something in line. You think he's a normal guy, but then next you know he's out following kids in stores and touching himself. So that's what I'm saying. Whenever you don't know exactly what's going through their minds, what's going through their heads, what they do behind closed doors, because what his wife is doing behind closed doors was with the Great Dane. How often did she have sex with her husband? Did she? That's another question I have. Did she enjoy sex with the Great Dane more than her husband? You know how insulting that is, that your wife is having sex? How bad was this guy in bed for her to have sex with the dog? So here is the update on that sick couple. Conroe, Texas, November 6, 2024. In Defense of Animals applauds the November 4th, 2024 conviction of Joey Keene, who was arrested on a charge of bestiality following an investigation into her husband, Jolie Keene, I'm sorry. However, she received a weak 6-month sentence to serve in the Department of Corrections, which is hardly a deterrent for her perverse crime. Without mandatory mental health evaluation and treatment, it is improbable that Keene will do anything but hide any future recidivism. Let's keep going here. Jolie Keene was arrested on March 27, 2024, and charged with committing multiple sex acts with her Great Dane. As we talked about, Jolie, who worked as a nurse practitioner, sick that this woman was working as a practitioner while she was having sex with a Great Dane at the same time. Maybe the same day she was doing stuff after a rough day at work. Was fired, and family members took her children, thank goodness. And Jolie's husband, William Mitchell Keene, was also arrested on March 27th for masturbating. Oh my goodness. While telling children in a supermarket on March 13th. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Department Precinct 3 responded to Williams' lewd behavior. When arresting officers checked the contents of his phone, they were stunned to discover dozens of child sexual assault videos and photos. Oh my gosh. This, I mean, even though I've seen this story, it sickens me, including Jolie violating her dog. Williams' trial is on docket for November 19th. The reaction of their community members was pure shock. They believed the couple were animal lovers, even nicknaming William the pet detective. Well, his wife was detecting a lot from the pet, from the Great Dane. That's crazy that they were calling this guy the pet detective. He was doing a lot more than that. He was detecting kids, he was detecting pets, and his wife is getting plowed by a Great Dane. These two need to be, they need a lot more than, the wife needs a lot more than 6 months in prison, in jail, whatever, in a correctional facility. And she needs a mental health evaluation. She needs to be as far away from society as possible. And that, again, goes to what I was saying. You don't know who lives next door to you. The guy was called the pet detective, and they were making bestiality videos and all kinds of crazy stuff in their home. So, like I said, you think people live normal lives, such as myself. I don't do any of this weird, freaky stuff. I just come and talk to you about it. But the guy who lives next door to me, I mean, I don't think he's doing anything like that, but you never know. So it's crazy to think about. So yeah, be careful in the supermarkets. Watch your kids. Watch the Great Danes. Be careful who you come across, because there are some weirdos out there. 88 animals stuck inside of a home in the colony. Woman in a man in Houston making bestiality videos and all kinds of weird stuff. Crazy world. Stay in your lane. Stay away from weirdos. And I will leave it at that. Like and subscribe. And if you smell anything foul when you're walking by a house in the colony or anywhere else, don't be afraid to call the pet detective. Wait, don't call that guy. Call the police or get your city and council involved, because make sure they investigate and see what's going on, because you might have almost 100 animals inside there suffering. So I'll leave it at that. Sorry to bring you these crazy stories, but that's what I'm here to do. Let you know the troubles of this world. There's a lot more going on than murderers and rapists. There are people like this out there too. So, all right, guys, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. See you next time. Thank you. Take care.